sang this song to me. There was a message in its melody, sweetest lyrics that I ever heard. There's a message in the songs of birds. Tomorrow is another day. Living is the only way. Tomorrow's gonna ever come. Listen to the words of the song. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything is gonna be. Now the trees sang the song to me. He said the birds sang it to the breeze.
Greetings and welcome to A Sip of Inspiration. My name is Stephanie Wilson-Coleman and I'm your host for tonight's show. Tonight we're going to talk about a topic that has been heavy on my mind for a couple of years, and that's ex-offenders navigating their way through the hidden obstacles in society. As you all know who followed me from some time, I believe that all life is precious, and if you're ever able to find any magic at all in the moment, it is in the ordinary moments, in the moments where we as human beings are sharing, giving, and caring. I have found that in my research that has not been the case of the ex-offender who's returning into society. So in order to discuss that tonight, joining me is Tony Lowry. You have to be called Tony or Anthony?
Tony, Stephanie.
Tony, okay. Shalonda Parker. How are you doing?
Fine.
Cool. And Aaron Johnson, how are you?
I'm blessed this evening.
Cool. We have Tony, who is my expert, who's worked with several foundations who have been responsible for helping ex-offenders. And then I've got Shalonda Parker and Aaron Johnson, who are friends of mine, who actually are ex-offenders, who have been willing to come out in public and say they're ex-offenders and help me with this topic. Tony, I'm going to cheat from my notes, is currently the liaison for the federally funded Illinois RX program at Community Mental Health Council. The program provides pre-release services inside the Illinois Department of Corrections. I'm going to allow Tony to tell us a little bit more about what the program does, and if you want to talk a little bit about some of those other programs, you can too.
Okay, thanks a lot, Stephanie. And first of all, thanks for the opportunity to come be a part of your show and talk about the plight of the ex-offender. Very important, I think, in our community to get an understanding of the real issues and the trouble with navigating a safe return home. Currently, I am working with I'm working with Community Mental Health Council with the Illinois RX program. And again, this is a federally funded program that provides pre-release services inside of adult transition centers with the Illinois Department of Corrections. What research has shown is that if you can start delivering services while people are still incarcerated, the outcomes are better, recidivism is reduced. Therefore, the program was started with U.S. Department of Justice and the U.S. Department of Labor, trying to address the issues of recidivism in the country. Each year, over 650,000 people return from prisons in the United States, and the national recidivism rate is over 60%. So that means 6 out of every 10 persons who are released from prison are back in prison with a new charge in less than 3 years. So to address that issue, federal government stepped up to the plate with some encouragement from Congress to provide dollars to the states at a local level to deliver programs inside and then subsequently follow those clients on the outside. So with the Illinois RX program, what we do inside is provide an assessment that we take a look at the issues facing our clients on the inside. We provide them with case management. There's a case manager who comes in, talks about the issues, navigates, and coordinates the support they need on the inside to prepare them for the outside. Then there's a transition plan where there's a seamless transition and a handoff to a community-based organization on the outside who follows up with job training, placement, things like that, where they hopefully will get employment, take classes in family reunification, take mentoring, and all the things that best practice research has shown work to reduce recidivism.
Okay, we have Shalonda Parker.
Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, what would you like to share with the viewers?
I'm just glad to be here today, and thank you for inviting me to come to the show.
Okay.
I would just like to say, as coming back as an ex-offender, it is hard out here, when you first come back, trying to make your way to get to where you want to go because of your past and your background. And I just want to, just do the things that I have to do to lead me into the right steps where I don't have to go back where I came from.
Okay. And Aaron?
Thank you, Stephanie, as well. I was released early this year, January, from federal custody, and I just would like society to understand and to know that everyone in society looks at felons in a certain way. It could be good or bad. And the ones that are on a positive level, I just want us to stay focused with different programs and to educate the individuals that have the mindset, like my brother was saying over here, to stop the recidivism. Because it's at a high rate, but we need the actual tools to help our youth in life.
Now, what are some of those tools? We did a radio show about this for the viewers, where we did a couple of Sundays where we talked about it, and we had a room full of ex-offenders. And what I'm discovering is that there are a lot of programs, but a lot of them don't seem to work. So what are some of the problems that you all have encountered, and then how does your program help address that issue? So when you first come home, what happens?
When I was, I'm going to take this question. When I
Okay.
was released, I was at this halfway house, and there's minimal things that you can do. When you first come home, you're looking for that family structure, and if you don't have it, it's a hindrance. It's just rough. You just released from being incarcerated, you're back in society, and you're just struggling. So what I would like to see in society, we just need to help each other with different programs, Stephanie. We need to grab people that's less fortunate, that don't have that family base, that can't read, that can't write, to stop what's easy, going back to the streets. So once we find those different tools, then we can focus on that, but each individual have to have the willpower and the know-how to look, learn, and search for those different things.
And then a lot of times I find that, when you first come home, you do need that family support, love, and structure, because you're already coming from where you were by yourself and you were already feeling down and out. So then to come home, and it seems kind of hard sometimes because you want to gain that trust and love and respect back from your family again, but you want to do the right things. And like Aaron said, a lot of times you don't, get the things you need from society or fellow, jobs out here, because they do look at your background, and they judge you on that, and they don't judge you from where you are today and what you're willing to accomplish and do today,
Now, I have discovered that, and probably most Americans are living in this fantasy world like I was living in this fantasy world. You're released, I guess, I thought, with this imaginary bag of tricks, with this magic, I'm serious, and then I discovered that you're released with just a small amount of money, and generally the bus ticket home takes over half of that. So and then the reality is after the price of the bus ticket, there's very little left even for food, and you're literally released with the clothes you have on your back. And if you've been in any time at all, you don't have any clothes where you were. So, I mean, the issues are immediate. The issues are immediately, in 2 hours, how do you feed yourself? Tomorrow, how do you have clean clothes? Where soap, basic things. So, and I don't think a lot of people in our society understand that. And then when we say society needs to help, the awakening for me was, I'm society. Society is not this fictitious panel of people who are sitting over there. I'm society. So what can we do to help, and how does your program help?
Well, the biggest thing, again, Stephanie, is commending you again for putting the issue on the table. That's where the public education starts. Is a myriad of issues, is systematic. Before I started working with the Illinois RX program, I was Director of Policy and Advocacy at Safer Foundation. Looking at the structural and systematic barriers to employment for people with records. It is a complex, universal, discriminatory practices that people with criminal records face. A lot of people come out there ill prepared for the rejection that they're going to face. There have been national studies, Dr. Harry Holzer out of Georgetown University, who did research with over 3,000 employers. More than 65% of them said they would not knowingly hire a person with a record. Society, in a lot of situations, don't care. You look at the city of Chicago, you hear about the violence on the news, and people associate that with the ex-offender. The picture of the ex-offender is young Pookie with braids, tattoos, standing out on the corner, but the majority of ex-offenders are people who had been released, who had got work, who had started their lives anew, but their job may have downsized, and they start that job search again, and here they go again with the criminal record being a barrier. What happens on the inside is preparing the people with skills, with marketable skills that can be transitioned on the outside. The work has to start on the inside to start the mindset as far as having a plan, having a dream. What am I going to do when I get out? Having that real talk to get them to understand that it's not going to be easy. But the X factor in every person's success is their personal responsibility and commitment to success. Now, it's not going to be easy, and you have organizations that provide services, but I tell people all the time, you have to make sure those organizations are accountable. With Illinois RX starting in the inside, I know Safer has programs on the inside, but then the person, when they come home, and I like to use the old adage that fresh air causes amnesia. Upon release, everything that you've taught them on the inside will evaporate or vanish. So it's very important that they stay engaged in post-release services with community-based partners, faith partners, and in a lot of cases, you're not going to get the necessary family support that might make a difference. So that's why the individual determination and the commitment of the person, I think, is the key factor. Myself had to overcome barriers and restart life and move forward, and it's not an easy route, but with that personal perseverance, you can make it.
Yes, I'll agree with you on certain issues. Now in the system, they took away so many different programs inside the jails. I mean, so when you have an individual been locked up 5-6 years in the institution, and once he's released, he don't know nothing. He went in, he went in one way, and he come out worse with the. He has more malice. So now you come to society. Your mother moved. She's out of her house. So what do you do? What do the individuals do? What do the individuals do?
Well, I think you're going on the presumption that the people who are holding you in custody really care. And that's the issue. They have a responsibility of custody and control. Now, in the last 5 years, Illinois Department of Corrections has made headway to start opening up programs. The biggest thing years ago, you can go to school, you can do the things that were necessary to prepare you to come out. That's non-existent anymore. Now you have programs that have just started in recent years. You have the Sheridan Drug Treatment Program. In Sheridan, a whole correctional center that provides job training, substance abuse. You have the SPICE program, which provides job training and computer training in all Illinois Department of Corrections facilities if you're from 6 months from release. You have Illinois RX that's going on the inside. So what national studies have shown through the President's Reentry Initiative is that you have to start to work on the inside. But again, for us, there's no guarantees. Now, we can't, that's why I say the personal responsibility and commitment is the key, because we have to get the lemon and make lemonade. You go all over the country, and when I go to Washington and talk to the other providers in this grant and hear about the issues and the problems that they're facing engaging the population, you have foster care, which is another direct line to incarceration. So when these young people come back out, there are no parents there. There's no family support there. So in spite of all of that that's not there, I still have to make the personal commitment to myself that I'm going to do whatever is necessary to get mine. Safer Foundation, CARA program, Westside Health Authority, a lot of other organizations are part of that equation that a person has to put together for themselves to utilize what you can get from them. But one of the biggest things in reducing recidivism and in increasing employment opportunities is education. See, the criminal record is like the lights on the Las Vegas Strip. When you check the box on the application, most employers just throw it away. I teach people to do a letter of explanation. so that they can kind of humanize the application process. I was convicted of these crimes, suffered from chemical dependency, participated in these programs inside, currently participating in here. I'm a member of this, I volunteer here to try and humanize that process to give yourself a chance. Then is a selling point. You know, I have to be straightforward, I have to be committed, and I have to look like I will not embarrass this employer if he does hire me, because most employers do not want to hire us. The criminal record is the new proxy for racism. 80% of the population inside correctional facilities in the country is black and brown. So when you check the box, they know that you're African American or Hispanic. So now is the new proxy for racism. In spite of all of that, we still have a job to do as far as preparing ourselves to get their opportunity. A lot of the jobs are minimum wage jobs. I developed a housing program for Safer Foundation. I was taking guys straight, they would wake up in the penitentiary that morning, I would give them keys to their own apartment that afternoon. They would take the train, I would take them, give them their own furnished apartment. But then looking at that, and again, understanding that fresh air causes amnesia, I had to make adjustments in that program. So no, I can't take you from the penitentiary and put you in your own apartment on the south side where people are selling drugs, things are happening, you're looking out the window, you're exposed. So transitional housing. Let me help you bridge that gap to success, which is very important.
How was it for you when you came in? And before you answer that question, this is a live call-in show. I just need to remind the viewers of that. The number is 312-738-1845. So please feel free to call in with your questions. What support were you given? How did you find out about support? Because you came from the federal prison. And in society's mind, we think that you had a bag of tricks given to you.
It's not true. It's a far-fetched story. What happened in the 70s, 60s, I can only talk about what happened,
Right, what happened
in 2009.
Okay.
I was released. I was sent to a halfway house. I was housed there for 6 months. After the 6 months, it was, this is what you need to do. You have to leave. You have individuals that have nowhere to go. That you have nowhere to go. You've been in the penitentiary 10, 20 years. You come out, you have nowhere to go. What do you do? It's hard. It's harder for some people. It's easy for others to have the family-based support. But you have so many, Stephanie, that have no support. They can't go back on the block, on the area. Because why not? You cannot be in a household with convicted felons.
Right.
So it's against your release papers, your violations for you to be around a felon. If my mother is a felon or my brother's a felon, I can't be in that household.
And I agree with Aaron 100% because it's like me, I came home in 2002 and then I had to go straight, to a halfway place. And then, like he's saying, you get all your tools that you think you need to build yourself up and to do the things that you need. And then, like he said, like me, I was kicked out after 8 months. And then my whole self-esteem and stuff is started to say like, man, where am I going? I thought I was doing what I was supposed to do to try to make it. I don't have my family anymore. It's just me. I done lost kids doing this in my situation, and now where do I turn? Where do I turn? I don't want to go back to the things I used to do or the places I used to go. I want to do the right things. I want to do the right things. But when I do go out here and I apply for a job, then I'm looked at as, it's no matter, I don't care what you try to do out here, you are still judged. You are judged, and that's like I said before on the show, that you can even go out and say, I'll do this for a primary time. I'll lessen my wage. I'll volunteer for a period of time. And they don't care. It's like they are, okay, I'll have you. And after that 30, 60-day period, it's like they got free work out of you. And then, well, we can't use you or we don't have the funds, available. And it's like, and that makes you feel bad. So where do you go? And I know about the Safer Foundation and the CARE program and all these programs. They do give them to us, but a lot of times I don't believe that they utilize and help us as they could.
We've got a caller on the line. Good evening.
Evening, Miss Stephanie.
How are
First
you?
of all, I didn't get your last name, Miss Stephanie.
Wilson-Coleman. A
First
lot of
all,
last
I'd
names.
just like to thank you for this. Okay, thank you, Stephanie Coleman. I'd just like to thank you for hosting this show. It's such a wonderful show, and the perfect title, A Sip of Inspiration, because every time I watch it, you touch on a lot of issues that's in our communities. And I'd like to thank the panel for coming on, and I just want to encourage them to, I know things may look bleak, but keep trying, keep the faith, pray, and just do all that you can, because believe me, I know many people who were in the same position that you were, and they kept trying, and they kept trying, and today they have jobs. You will be surprised. When one door closes, another one opens. I have not been in the penitentiary, but I had a son who's deceased now, who I did 3 bits with him. And he tried to get employment, and he tried to get employment, and he went back to selling drugs, and he died. So I'm asking you to just don't give up, just to hold on, because somebody is going to help you. Things may look bleak, but just keep trying. And I myself, I worked with TASK previously, and I also worked with the Sheridan program. And some of those young men, I'm telling you what I know to be true. Some of those young men, they gave up after not being able to get a job, right away, and they didn't have any place to go. But they did help them with some jobs. There might have been a job at the airport. It may have been a job doing custodial service, but they did get jobs. So I'm asking you just to hold on and to do the best you can. And I just want to say to Mr. Anthony Laurie, I just thank you for the job that you're doing as well in our community. We need men like yourself to just keep on keeping on, because I know the salary that we make in this field is not enough for what we do. So you have to have, your heart has to be into it. But I just called to thank you all and to say that keep up the good work, Mr. Laurie, Mrs. Coleman. Keep doing what you're doing, because the issues that you address, we need to hear them.
Thank you very
And
much.
you look beautiful, by the way, as always.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I think, and as far as it opening, I'm the same person they are. I got a background.
Okay.
And so I'm not telling you about, to think about the struggle. I clearly, truly understand the struggle and had to walk through the struggle several times. So the main thing is that in any organization, I can't let that organization guide my success or dictate my success. What I have to do is utilize them as one of those tools, utilize other partners. With Illinois RX program, we start on the inside. We have Chicago Christian Industrial League. On the outside, we have Liberation Christian Center in Inglewood. Faith community is being urged to step up and provide programs. But there has to be that personal determination in spite of all the odds.
Now, I believe you can't teach drive. That's what you're talking about. You got to have the drive. But maybe we can talk about some tools to navigate through some of those programs. And maybe that's what the problem is. If somebody's throwing a bunch of programs at you, you don't know how to navigate through that. We've got another caller on the line. Good evening.
Yes, hello. How you doing?
We're doing great.
How you doing?
Great. How are you?
All right.
You have
I just want to say that I just happened to catch you guys' show. I think what you guys are doing is real good. I want to touch on something I heard a brother say earlier. I think we got to get more out of materialistic into more unity, because that's just the culture of our people, the history. I just think that a lot of stuff is going on right now. They're closing the lines on some things that we need to do, but we got to go to them and ask them for the things that we need to do instead of us just getting it and doing it ourselves. I mean, I see you guys, you guys got your issues out there, you got your suits on and your ties, you looking real nice. But at the end of the day, we got to take our, nice shoes off and get out here and put our hard hat on and really battle, because that's what it is. It's a battle right now. And we either going to be in the front or we going to be in the bottom. And that's the decision we got to make right now. You know, we can't be in the middle. We can't be at the bottom. We've been at the bottom. We know what it is to be at the bottom. Do we really know what it is to be at the top? I'm talking about us as a generation right now. You know, so until we start doing that and really start looking for each other with unity, because we work together as a team more than individuality. You know,
Yes.
the people that brought us over here got us thinking individually. You
Right.
know, like we don't need nobody, but we as a history been the people that work together in a group with unity, and that's what we got to get back to right now. So I understand it's hard. You know, you get out of jail, you try to get a job, they don't want to hire you, they ask you black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever. But at the end of the day, I just think that what we should do is we should have more of our prominent black people that do got a little economic, that do got social, you know, expressions to really, you know, come back and give us a hand to the ones that you guys that's on TV right now. You know, you guys talking about you guys volunteering and they want you 30, 60 days and they throw you away. Well, it's the same way as a part-time job. Just look around. It's not really too many jobs when all faces is on them right now. So unless we talk about getting all faces on them, we ain't talking about the white man faces, the Asian faces. We talking about all faces. Because that's what we got to do right now.
That's right.
It's the 21st century.
Thank you very much.
Being the sales and
We have another caller on the line. Hi, how are you?
Hello, Mrs. Coleman. My name is Tyrell Parker.
Hi,
And
Tyrell.
I'm not ex-offender or anything, but I have a lot of friends and a couple of family members that are ex-offenders. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I'm anti-government or anything, but I believe a lot of it has, you know, a lot of it is the government's fault because a lot of these guys, you know, they're ex-felons, they get out and, you know, they get in these programs and they really don't have the materials that they need to blend back into society. And I look at how, you know, how society, you know, they would rather lock these guys back up instead of, you know, giving them job training. And, you know, they really don't give them an outlet, you know, to get away from all of the negativity that puts them in there. The only thing I can do is say just keep trying and don't give up. Just like the lady that called in and said, if one person don't hire you, someone will. Just don't give up, because when you give up, it's true. But a lot of this has to do with the government. It's bad that they eradicated a lot of the programs that they
Yes,
had,
it is.
and it just leaves a lot of guys out there with nowhere to go but back to the penitentiary. And what can they do? What do you do? I'm not saying it's right to go back selling drugs or anything, but I mean, you have to feed your family. You know, doing what you did to get in there is not the right thing to do. But
Right.
at these times nowadays, what can you do when all the doors are closing in on you?
That's what we're going to talk about. You know, Einstein said you cannot solve a problem at the same level that it was created, which means we cannot solve this problem at the same level that we think about it now. We've got to have some new ideas, some fresh ideas. We've got another caller on the line.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Tracy, and first of all, I want to congratulate you on fixing this subject, because it's a hard subject in the Black community. One of the things I want to say to the people that are on there, keep your head up. Another thing, we need to start legislative branches of government, especially for the state of Illinois. I'm sure if you've ever heard of the ATR program, which is Access to Recovery. That program was an excellent program geared to cut down on recidivism of going back. But they looked at it and said, okay, if we cut the budget, if we need $12 million to keep the budget going, well, why don't we cut the budget, add a larger jurisdiction? And when they did that, what did that do? They knocked out the people who needed the services.
Right.
So it's money in keeping people going back to prison. The less money we have, to help the people that we need to help, that means they're going to go back to prison. So in order to stop that, we need to go to our legislators, our governors. This is election time. We need to go to them and say, look, this is what we need for our community. And everybody that does not do what we need them to do for our community, we need to vote them out. It's just
That's exactly right. You know, that was a key point. As a group of people, and not just African Americans, all people, Americans are incredibly silent when it comes to the way the country's run.
Yes.
We need to write letters, we need to send emails, we need to send faxes, we need to sign whatever we need, because once you are no longer invisible to society, they will find the money for you to have the programs that you need. And that's what we don't do. You know, can you imagine what the response would be if 50% of all of the ex-offenders would pick one day and send an email to their Congress people, just one day? You would be on their mind, they would want you out of their email, and they would find some money for the programs that we need. Another thing that we don't do is we don't vote. Voting is incredibly important. How you vote is not as important as the fact that you vote, because our congressmen and our senators and our governors look at the opinions of people who vote. And that's who they court. We have got to vote. And the other thing we can do is we can respond to the census, because they have no idea how many African Americans are here in this country. So those are simple things that we can do. We have a caller on the line. Good evening. Technical difficulty. So those are things that quiet people sitting in their homes who think that you guys get a bag of tricks, that's what they could do. And once you're no longer invisible, the funds would come, and Tony wouldn't have to do so much lobbying to get the funds. We wouldn't have drug programs cut. And I'm finding out that there's all kinds of issues, not just that, but there are drug issues, there's issues with sexual abuse among a high number of the people incarcerating, victims of sexual abuse. I'm finding that out. So see, I'm having the wool pulled from over my eyes.
Okay.
So those things are things that we can do, but we've got to be active. We've got to write letters.
And definitely, Stephanie, that the caller just said, being active legislatively. As being the director of policy before and going down to Springfield, lobbying with legislators, getting legislation passed that provided funding for new programs, that's the key. But in Illinois, you have a state that has 38 correctional centers, most in southern Illinois. Most people don't know the responsibility of this. Most of our people don't know the responsibility of state senators, state legislators, to hold them accountable, to make sure that ex-offender issues or people with criminal records issues are being heard and being voted on, and calling them. One forum is coming up December 7th that I coordinated when I was at SAFER. That's the CARE Council. That's the Council of Advisors to Reduce Recidivism Through Employment. You have state senators there. You have the congressmen there. You have state reps there. December 7th at UIC Forum. Great opportunity for young people like these two here to go ask
Say
the
that
question.
date again.
Okay, that's December 7th at the UIC Forum, 725 South Halsted, is the SAFER Foundation CARE Conference. CARE is Council of Advisors to Reduce Recidivism Through Employment. You have employers there, you have state reps there. Congressman Davis usually comes. You have representatives from the city, from the county, state's attorney office, looking at the whole impact of the criminal records on our population, making sure that issues are being heard. Program U.S. probation is there. Everybody is there because there are people who are invested in success, but at the community level, the community is still under siege. So they're looking at people with criminal records. No, we don't want them back here. Here, they're getting out. No, please. You know, see, and that's the thing in the community. So that public education is needed to increase the community perception and support. At St. Sabina, there's a reentry program there, and Father Flager has really been on board as far as making sure employers provide people returning to the Auburn Gresham community with employment opportunities. People's Church of the Harvest on the west side has stepped up, getting employers, redeveloping their community. So the community has to be taught how to engage and support return of people with criminal records. An organization that I'm founding, the Yes I Can Foundation, is looking at the issues in Inglewood of people with criminal records returning, getting that support, canvassing the community, starting at that young level with high school programs to identify, to break that generational cycle of incarceration.
But can you imagine the response if 100 ex-offenders showed up and they look just like the people who aren't offenders, or at least that haven't been caught anyway. Because there's a lot of offending going on out here. I want people to know. And the people in prisons are not the only people doing offending, okay? And they look just like you looked. Yeah. That would be a powerful statement.
Yes, yes.
And those are the statements that we need to start making.
And a lot of ex-offenders are very hard-working individuals and work 10 times harder than your average worker.
We have another caller on the line. Good evening.
Hello?
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. My name is Peggy Cheatham. Shalonda that's on today, I wanted to know one thing. She made a statement that she don't have any family behind her. And I dared her because she know I love her.
She wasn't talking about you.
I'm enjoying the program because I'm glad to see that these issues have been addressed. So Shalonda is not only, she's one of the many in our family that have strayed. I am so proud of her to be sitting here today trying to get it straight. And she knows she can call on me. She has cousins, uncles, been locked up. I have a son locked up. But she knows this family is a hard-striving family. There's no such thing as kin.
Thank you very much.
I want her to keep that in her mind.
Thank
Never
you.
say you don't have anybody behind you.
Thank you.
I pray for everyone on the panel. Hope that everything that you are striving for will come to pass. Because I have 4 sons. Every last one of them have a record. And it hurts. Me as a parent, it hurts. And when they get out of jail and they try hard to get employment here, get in school, get degrees, they come out of jail with degrees and they don't mean nothing. That's a deterrent.
I mean, even people with degrees are having a difficult time in this economy. Sometimes the person behind you that's support has to be a person that you create in your own mind, because there are a lot of people who don't have anybody who will support them. There are a lot of people who don't have criminal records who can't find family support. So we have to remove that from what I call my board game and stop looking for someone else to support me and try to figure out where do I find that support from inside of me. And those are skills too that I'm discovering that we don't teach in anywhere in our society.
And that's like that's another thing too. Like what I was saying, like what my statement is, when I first came home, you don't have people because you want the trust. Now I do have a strong foundation with my family, my husband, my children, and my other immediate family that have allowed me back into their lives. But my thing is, I stay prayerful. I don't give up. I keep going on. And my thing is, it's not the people, places, and things anymore. I am the people, places, and things.
Right.
I feel like I was my own problem. When I go around in those places or around those people, I create havoc and chaos, you know. So when I stopped going and doing different things and I started changing my thinking and my way of acting, I just had a brand new attitude about life. Things around me started changing. Everything got better for me, for the better. I started meeting better people and people that wanted to help me and were willing.
We've got another caller on the line. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Thank you for supporting the community and the people of the community. This is Justine. And I just like to give the people on the panel some hope, to let them know, just keep the faith that things will change. And it's easy to say and do, but just hold on, tie a knot. I haven't worked in 6 months. I'm on 0 income, and I am not re-entering into society this time, you know. But the job industry is so tight. It's so again for doing such a good job with your show and talking about having people like Tony and interesting people on your show to inspire our community and to give us hope. Thank you.
You're
Bye-bye.
welcome. Thanks for calling, Justine.
I think getting back to one of your original questions as far as how do you navigate between the different
Right.
programs, I think as far as, and I would encourage people who are not working who need support from a program to go back to that program, go through the process, hold the professional who's getting paid to provide you that service accountable. There's grievance programs. They have a supervisor. If you're not getting the services that you need, make sure someone knows that. You have to hold them accountable. In organizations, everybody's not going to be passionate and committed. When I'm with women out in Aurora, adult transition, I work with women and I talk to them and try to get them to understand the issue. We talk about the